looking back, I don't even remember. I wasn't, you know, you got a lot of people that are like, when I was a kid, you know, I saw a shadow cut across my room, and that got me fascinated by the paranormal. That wasn't what got me into it. I have an older sister. I got a single mom, or I still have. But and so my sister and I would be fighting, and she'd go, okay, well, let's go walk around the neighborhood. And this was New York. A lot of abandoned places, and people would say, ooh, look, it's spooky and haunted. We go wandering around. So I thought, man, this is pretty fun. Like, it would be cool if you actually ran into a ghost. So there wasn't like that defining moment, you know, that the other people up here have had. That's a good question.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
How do you tell the difference between a residual energy that's in a building and a spirit that may be inhabiting that building? Are they two very different things?
Residual energy, the first difference between an intelligent haunting or residual haunting is communication. If there is a ghost which can do intelligent communication, is looking at you and is able to say, put something intelligent towards you, it's an intelligent haunting. And a residual haunting, you will see things, same things repeating again and again. Like you hear stories that we see a lady crossing this path every Friday, and it does the same thing again and again. Like a video playing back, the same thing will happen. That's residual.
How do we explain the difference? Why is the difference between an imprint and a spirit? How do we explain that?
If you experience something which could tell you that someone is trying to communicate with you, you are being touched, or a spirit is looking at you, trying to say something, you hear something, that is very intelligent, like you ask something, you get an intelligent response, then it is intelligent. And if you see a ghost walking by, it's not looking at you, even there are residual voices there, like we had in North Kapilya Hotel, there was a loud bang over my head, and when we heard it back, it was basically a gunshot. So I think this is a basic difference between these two.
How much research about a location do you do? Or do you think it's important to at least not necessarily find out if there's been, you know, like a death or something happened in a location, but do you research where you go and what you do?
Well, I guess I should answer that one, since I was the main researcher. I actually made a list of around 300 places to begin with, and we cut that back to about, I think it was 10 for each state. There was a person who worked for the production company who phoned those places, and then once we had the final list, then I did most of the research on them, and I went into things like the deaths, obviously, but also right back to, for most of them, back to colonial eras, especially in Sydney. Cockatoo Island was a place that, you know, Captain Cook landed there, and he went into Botany Bay and other places, so we went right back to that kind of stuff, and then we actually went backwards and then came forwards. So some people start as close as they can to themselves and go back. We went the other way, started beginning and came forward, and tried to find out everything we possibly could about every location. Particularly Adelaide Arcade was an interesting one, because we actually found a number of newspaper stories that actually hadn't been previously made public. And that was because at the time, Trove, which is a government website, I don't know if everyone knows about Trove. Trove is all the newspapers in Australia that's been scanned and put into a database and you can access them. There was a whole heap of newspapers in there that hadn't actually been made public at the time. And I spent hours just going through, and I'd find the name, say Francis Clooney, who's the resident spirit, and I'd put his name into the system, and I'd keep looking up stuff, more and more stuff, and finding things. And I actually found a number of things that they're probably a little bit controversial today because we can't prove one way or the other. And the really interesting thing though about that is one of the things that I wrote about was to do with Francis possibly being murdered and not actually falling over and dying the way he did.
For myself, being as sensitive as I am, I'm going to pick up things anyway. I'm a skeptic too, guys, believe it or not. I don't just say, yep, that's gospel. I won't do that. I am pretty hard on anything that comes through. So, yeah, look, I believe that if you're a skeptic, that's healthy. If you're a non-skeptic, that's healthy too. The key is being open to whatever. be able to what you can experience. You may experience a whole lot, you may not, but it's about being in that moment and taking that opportunity. Because if there is something there for you to experience, why not? Yeah.
We couldn't really determine what it was that was there, but there was definitely something there. And just after we had actually taken the photo, we actually had rocks thrown at us. So would you class that as a warning?
That was shortly after I got scratched as well.
Yeah.
I would say if you interfere with anyone's space, if they invite you, you're welcome there.
Yeah.
If you barge into someone's space, they will definitely attack you or definitely give you a warning that you're not invited.
Yeah.
Basically, my theory about scratches and getting harmed by spirits, it's just that they don't want to communicate with you. They just want you to go out. But there could be other reasons also why people get scratched. You know, our psychology is so intense that you start believing in something, it is true for you. If you believe in something very strongly, it might appear on your physical body also.
Did you enjoy the presentation this evening?
Yes, I certainly did, thank you.
Yeah, what sort of things were you expecting to see or hear about when you came down?
Just questions that people had about spirits and investigating, and I think the folks answered that really well.
So you're interested in the paranormal?
Yes, I am.
In what way are you interested?
I sense things, I also see things, and I just like to prove to other people that what I feel and see is real. Thank you.
I think the presentation was really well done. It looked like everything that we got out of it was a lot more for us.
Had you seen the videos before?